Hey, howdy, hi, fancy meeting you here again. We are on to day 2 of your workout. We are going to start with what's called the inchworm to the world's greatest stretch. Might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I do it every day, so it must be pretty good. So our inchworm, we are going to start with feet together at the top, legs fully extended. Okay, forward folding, so try to keep your legs straight, get a nice stretch through your hammies. And then you're gonna walk yourself down to a high plank, okay? So I'm in the top of a plank here. From here, I'm gonna pull one foot forward into kind of what's called a runner's stretch. Okay, I'm sitting deep into my hip. I'm gonna take one hand and wrap it up towards the sky, keeping my head up on my hand. Okay, this hand is gonna replace back down on the inside of that foot. You can use that elbow to kind of brace against your knee. Okay, the other hand is gonna go up. Again, I'm keeping eyes up on the hand as I rotate. It's gonna come back down to the ground. Okay, I'm gonna replace the foot back to the beginning and then walk myself all the way back up to the top. So that's considered 1 rep on one side. Second rep is going to be, again, folding forward, walking my hands out, popping that leg up. Okay, one hand reaches and replaces. Take your time. It's the first exercise of the day. Getting loose, getting stretched out, really waking up the hips and thoracic region. That's what it's here for. Okay, this foot again replaces back to the beginning. And we walk our way all the way back up. We have one more on each side. So walking all the way down. One foot comes up. Hand towards the ceiling, reach, stretch, breathe, back down. Reach, stretch, breathe, pressing out into that knee with my elbow, and replacing, and replacing. Last one on the right side, forward fold, walk on out, foot comes up, wrap and stretch, right hand goes down, wrap and stretch, and replace. Foot goes back and walk yourself all the way back to the top. Again, trying to make sure your legs stay as straight as you can on that inchworm, just so that we do get a nice hamstring stretch. Cool. Second one, a little bit more hammy work. We're gonna do what's called a dumbbell RDL. Okay, so an RDL stands for Romanian deadlift. We're gonna do a lot of different RDL and deadlift varieties for the fact that they're great posterior chain, so back of our body exercises. Which often gets neglected. We're Americans, we sit on our ass way more than we need to. And the other thing is we don't necessarily see the backside of us in the mirror. So a lot of people at the gym will flex and look in the mirror, and if they're satisfied with what the front half looks like, they don't do a lot for the back half, which is sad. Anyways, great posture exercises, great things to keep us evened out. So we're gonna take 2 dumbbells. I put 10 to 15 in each on your recommendations. I think that's a good place for you to start. Work for the 10s this first round, and then if we want to go up to 15s or 12s, I think if we have them at home, you can for the second round. Okay, so dumbbell is going to be in each hand. We're going to start nice and tall, okay, nice and straight. I'm pulling my shoulder blades back together. My feet are about hip width apart. From here, I'm going to fold forward. Okay, the dumbbells are sliding up and down my torso, up and down my shins, okay? That's 2. I wanna keep them as tight to my body as I can, keeping just a soft bend through my knees, keeping my back flat, shoulder blades retracted. Okay, so I should really get a nice hamstring stretch on the way down, and then as I come up, I'm squeezing my glutes under, tucking up tall, tucking my core downward. Okay, I think that's 6, we're gonna do 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, and 12. Good. So on those guys, again, keeping them as tight to our shins as we can, loading that backside, sitting back through the heels, really just trying to keep a soft bend through our knees. Okay, so we don't want to be fully locked out, but we're also not squatting, okay? We're not letting the knees fold too far. We're really thinking of it almost as a back and forth motion rather than an up and down motion. The base of the movement is going to come from you pushing your hips backwards and allowing yourself that space to fold forwards. Great. What was that? Oh, tempo on those. We want to always control down. Again, we had talked about this in the day one as far as the dumbbell curls, resisting that pull of gravity on the way down. Same concept here, okay? As we go down, we are resisting here, and then we can squeeze tall and tight as we go through. You'll kind of figure out some more of the tempos. That's normally a pretty safe bet, is that on the eccentric or the lengthening phase of an exercise, we're controlling it. We're not letting gravity we're not letting gravity win, okay? Gravity's gonna be working on us, but we wanna resist it as much as we can. Great, okay, third thing, single leg, shoulders elevated, glute bridge. The other thing is you should have the nomenclature page in your Excel sheet, so if you ever forget what any of these abbreviations mean, you can go there or just text me, because I'm your daughter and yeah, I should be able to respond to that. So, single leg, shoulders, elevated, glute bridge. You can either use the bench or like the couch is fine. I'm gonna use a chair again because I don't have a bench in here. But what we want to do is get our solid object, okay? We're going to sit back or get back on it kind of right underneath of my shoulder blades, okay? So there should be kind of a soft spot where you can lock yourself in and feel relatively stable against the bench, and you're really not hurting yourself on your back, okay? It should be kind of a soft little cushiony spot on there that you can hinge. If you're on the couch or if you're on the bench, just allowing your hands to come out to the side for stability is a good idea. So from here, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna lift one leg straight out, okay? I'm gonna let my hips sink down towards the ground, and then I'm gonna bridge all the way up, okay? The hip sinks and bridges. So notice at the top position, I'm coming all the way tall, so it's shoulder, hip, knee in one line. My chair might slide, so I'm gonna hold on here. But we're gonna do 10 on each side. Okay, again, sitting through that hip, squeezing all the way tall. Let's do 3 more. Good, and come on down for a sec. So, big things on this one is that we want our torso to stay really locked in one board-like position that's hinging down, okay? We don't want it to come from our hip, or basically our hips arching and popping, okay? I'm not booty popping. I'm bending my whole torso and allowing it to hinge, okay? This should stay tight the whole time. So onto the second side, we have 10 reps again. Lifting one leg, bracing yourself out on that bench for stability. Okay, down, up. Other things to think about is that I want to keep my foot flat on the floor and really think about pushing through my heel to get that height. Okay, I'm not rocking up on my toe like this. I'm keeping my heel down to keep the emphasis on the back half of my body. We got 2 more. Okay, good. So thinking the force is going through the joint, through where the bone lines up. That means we're not up on our toe, we're sitting through that heel. As a starting reference position, we want to think about at the top of our bridge, we're in basically a vertical shin, 90-degree angle. So see how my shin comes vertical at the top? Okay, if my heel is here, I'm way too close. If my heel is out here, I'm way too far away. I want that shin to be vertical at the top position. All right. And last one in the circuit, we're gonna do a squatting resistance band row. So I'm gonna tie my band up to just a solid bike object here. You can do yours against like a vertical, one of the vertical pulls of the squat rack is probably the best option. Next thing, your band is gonna be purple, mine is green, they're the same grade. But wrap it once around, wrap it back through itself in order to lock it in place. Like so, if you can see. Okay, it's just looped through and then back through itself to keep it secure. From here, we're gonna grab the band about a foot apart with our palms facing upward, okay? And then squeeze. Then we are going to, sorry, I've got moving camera. Welcome to the world of Zoom sessions. It's a bitch. All right, so palms are up. We're going to get back into a deep squat and we're gonna row the band back towards our side. So pulling those elbows tight, like we had talked about in in workout 1. Okay, the elbows kind of pull down towards those hips. That's 4, we're gonna do 12. We're squeezing back tight through our shoulder blades, keeping our chest up and our hips down, okay? Your legs should be burning, but your back should be burning too. I think that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, and 12. Good. Embrace the shake, embrace the burn. Tempo-wise, again, our band is acting like false gravity here. So rather than having a dumbbell where it's pulling downward, gravity is pulling it downward, our band is kind of falsifying gravity from that direction, which means that we want to resist the pull of the band that way, okay, and then pull strong as we come back. So I'm slow, I'm never letting the band yank me or take advantage of me. I'm resisting and then pulling back strong. All right, so that was round 1. Again, you can pause here or you can rewind and go back through if you just want to be redundant and see me do the same things over and over again. But we will catch each other back here for round 2. Okay, round 2. It's Sunday, I'm kind of tired, it's hot out, but we're gonna finish this one up. So, dumbbell lat pullover. I want you to get out your physio ball. Oh, I'm sorry, your Bosu ball, blue balls. So we have this guy here, okay? We're going to grab a dumbbell and we're gonna get it in the same type of position that we had it for those tricep extensions last time, okay? So we're kind of in a little bit of a triangle position here. It's secured on the top. From there, I want to get my shoulders and my head on the Bosu ball, so just enough of a lift for our torso that we can get a little bit of a stretch back, okay? So this is a great exercise for our lats through our back. It's a great postural exercise. It's also great for shoulder mobility, okay? But one thing we want to consider here is that we are kind of putting ourselves into a slightly vulnerable position. Not dangerous, but vulnerable, okay? We just need to be conservative with our stretch. So once we get the dumbbell in that position and our head and shoulders back supported by the ball, we are going to get a big reach backwards and then come on up, okay? We're keeping just a very, very soft bend through our elbows, so my arms aren't completely locked out, but they're also not bent, okay? Thinking about stretching back towards the back wall rather than down towards the floor. Okay, that was 3, we're gonna do 12. Long stretch, again, gradual on that way back, okay? Protect your shoulders, keep tension, keep stability, and then I can come up tall and kind of a little bit faster as I'm coming up towards my chest, okay? And again, at that top position, I'm directly over my sternum at the chest. So I think this is 8, 9, 10, 11, last one, stretch, 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 and 12. Good. So for these guys, at this point when we're on the Bosu ball doing these, make sure your hips stay on the ground. It's just the head and shoulders that are supported up on top of the ball, okay? Great. Second one, we're gonna do a alternating kettlebell plank pull under. So again, we have those kettlebells at home. I think that they go up to 15 pounds, but I'm not positive. 15 is probably a good place for you to start. You can also progress onto a dumbbell if you want to go heavier. I just know that those kettlebells max out, I think, at 15. So for this, we're going to start with a bell. I'm crooked on here and it's bugging me. Hold on. better. Okay. Starting with the bell on the ground, okay, we're gonna get up into a high plank, so that means a plank from our hands. We want our hands to be stacked right under our shoulders, okay, so that's a big thing. When I'm in my plank, I'm here, I'm not here, okay? I like to think about pillars on a building. You wouldn't build pillars sideways and then expect a building to be stable on top of it, right? You'd always build your pillars straight upright in order to support the surface on top. So we want to make sure that our pillars are stacked under our shoulders. From there, we are going to get up into our high plank. Okay, we're reaching under our body with one arm. We're pulling the kettlebell across to under, replacing this hand, and then coming back through. Okay, so as we do this, we got 16, I believe. Yep, 16, 3. Okay, we're trying to keep hips square with the ground and stable, keeping feet as close together as we can, ideally close, at least hip width or closer, okay? We don't wanna line them up in a big straddle stance. We wanna be using our core to keep us square with the ground as we reach under and pull across. I have lost count. Let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and very last one, 4. Cool, and come on down. So again, just keeping core nice and tight, trying to keep ourselves as stable, as little discrepancy in side to side motion as we can as we pull under. Great. Second to last one, we have elbows to hands plank. So again, we're gonna start in that high plank. Okay, our hands are stacked under our shoulders. We're gonna pop ourselves up into this plank. Okay, we're going to go down into a low plank, and then stack right back up. Okay, up and down counts as 1. So I've got 2, 3, and again, as we pull in, we really want to think about stacking those hands directly under our shoulders, keeping feet about hip width apart, trying not to let ourselves sway too heavy from side to side. Let's do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. In our plank position, to just a little bit of a side note, we want to really think about keeping corny analogy for you. So let's think if you had a big belt buckle on, okay, a big cowgirl buckle. You want to keep the belt buckle pointing up towards your face. Okay, so what I mean by that is that imagine me in a plank. Oh, I guess I can do it in a plank. Okay, so imagine me down here. I have my belt buckle on. Can't really see because of the shirt. I have my belt buckle on and I go like this. Okay, I just pointed that buckle down towards my toes. But if I tuck here, okay, I just pointed that belt buckle up towards my face. So that's where I want to keep myself in that plank position. And then as I go down, again, I'm staying tight and stacked. I'm keeping this front half engaged rather than letting my back take over. All right, very last one, we've got bench dips. So you can either back up to the bench that's in the squat rack, or if you want to use the couch or side table, go for it. Basically, we want something stable and sturdy about hip height. So I'm gonna use my chair again. Here. Okay, I'm going to sit myself right down next to the edge of it. So that's a big thing. I don't want to have too much space between me and the bench. I'm going to put my palms back onto the bench. Okay, my fingers are going to be facing me. And then I'm going to let my hips sink down towards the ground and press right back up. Okay, we're going to do 12. That's 2, 3. Again, letting my hips just sink straight downward. Okay, I'm not using my legs to leverage me up. And I want to try to pull my elbows back towards that back wall rather than letting them flare out. Okay, let's do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Good, making sure that we get down to a full 90-degree angle at the bottom. Okay, so we hit that full depth. And again, like I said, we're trying to pull here, tight to my side. We're not letting them flare out like chicken wings as I dip. None of that, okay? All right, so that was round 2. We had the pull-overs, the pull-unders, the planks, and the dips. You'll go back through that one more time, again, following the specified number of reps. And you can watch me again if you want, or you can just do it on your own. So that was day 2. Again, a little stretch after this wouldn't be a bad idea, a little bit of movement, just to limber yourself back up and get your protein in. It doesn't count if it's ice cream. We went over this already. I love you. I will catch you on day 3.